Hello and welcome to the newest and latest podcast for the Get Real Football Experts. I'm Dave Crescent, and as always, I am joined by Louis Deavy. But today, to change things up a bit, we have a new format. Lou, why don't you talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, so we're doing a ooVoo now account. We're thinking of going off of audio, getting some. We have YouTube videos in the middle, as you can see. We'll have some highlight reels going. It's different and it's probably a little more exciting. So
Give you some eye candy.
yeah, so we'll do that, and we got a new studio. Well, we got a first time video in quite some time. So yeah, this is the new format that we will be. As long as it works out, this is what we'll be doing for the majority of the podcast.
Yeah, so let's dive in, shall we?
All right, cool. Let's do it. So our first headline is Percy Harvin clearly is missing 3 to 5 months
Yeah.
of injury, and this is clearly going to impact the Seattle Seahawks. But Dave, where do they finish now in the NFC? First off in the NFC West, are they ahead of the 49ers, and how does this impact them for the playoffs? Even though Harvin will probably be back.
Well, I didn't even have them ahead of the 49ers a little bit ago with Harbin, so now I think they're still going to stay with second in the NFC West. With they still have. I mean, their offense was good enough last year without Harbin. Their defense has got nothing but stronger. But I still feel the 49ers are the better team there. So I'll have 49ers 1, Seahawks 2, and then just to go off the rest, Rams 3 and Cardinals 4.
All right, yeah, that's a good point. I think the Seahawks are still a playoff team, and they could contend for a Super Bowl because Percy Harvin's going to be back, uh, of course. So let's talk about the NFC North, though. Percy Harvin's former division. Let's talk about the Minnesota Vikings, who obviously have Adrian Peterson as their running back, and I mean it's going to be interesting to see how many teams finish in the NFC North with obviously Adrian Peterson. You got Calvin Johnson, Aaron Rodgers, the Lions, and Packers, and then plus Jay Cutler and the Bears. Dave, how many teams come out, and do you think the
Uh,
Vikings bounce back into coming back into the playoffs this season?
well, no, I don't think that the Vikings will make the playoffs again. Peterson really carried that team. As much as you want it to happen, he's not going to run for that many yards again. Sure, they helped up the receiving core with Greg Jennings and uh, they drafted Cordell Patterson in the first round, but I still don't. I think. I mean, you wouldn't have predicted them to go into the playoffs last year, even through the season. So I don't think they're going to make it. But I still see two. I think the Bears are going to come out and get a wild card this year. They were 10-6 last year and missed the playoffs. But I mean, if you go 10-6, majority of the time you're going to be in the playoffs. And so if they just do what they did last year, I think they are even a little bit better now. They have good running backs still with Matt Forte, a great receiver in Brandon Marshall, solid QB who throws a lot of picks, but other than that, he's good. And Jay Cutler, and now they added a good tight end in Martellus Bennett. Yeah, I think the Bears will take the first or second wild card and give the Packers the division again.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you with the Packers winning the division, but I also think that it's potentially a division that the Vikings could overtake. They're for a wild card spot, they're a much improved team. They had 3 first-round picks, like you said, Cordell Patterson, but I think Xavier Rhodes is going to be huge since they lost Antoine Winfield and also Sharif Floyd. I think that the Lions, though, are the team that are definitely going to give the Packers a run for their money. With Calvin Johnson and Matt Stafford as one of the best duos, I think the difference is Reggie Bush. And I think that them and the Bears, I think, are the battle for the second. I definitely think Peterson's going to get the Vikings in contention, but I think it just all comes down to Christian Ponder and the quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, don't you agree though? I mean, they have the worst quarterback in the division.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
So and also the receiving core. I mean, Greg Jennings is coming over from Green Bay, but
But you
other than
can't.
that, they don't have much.
But I mean, Christian Ponder, you can. I mean, yes, he's the worst of the QB in that division, but he's not a bad quarterback. I mean, that's a very good quarterback division. So
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I just feel like he's kind of a. I mean, I just want to. I mean, he's only a third year player, so he's still developing. I mean, you can't expect him to be like an Andrew Luck. I mean, coming out of college, out of Florida State, he looked pretty good, and I think he might have been taken a little bit high. But hey, when you have Adrian Peterson doing stuff like that, I mean, I think you're always going to be in contention.
yeah.
So let's go over to the NFC East, where there's some huge headlines referring to the Eagles and Riley Cooper of the Philadelphia Eagles, who made a racial slur at a concert. And there he is playing baseball. Okay, so there's Riley Cooper, and he made some racial slurs
Yeah.
at a concert, a Kenny Chesney concert. I don't really care what singer it is, but having to do with the N word and for African Americans, and he addressed the team. He is being fined But I mean, people like Michael Vick have said most of the team has forgiven him, but some guys like Leisha McCoy said he lost a lot of respect and he lost a friend today for this. How much of an impact is this going to affect the Eagles locker room, and will this come into play during the regular season if they keep Riley Cooper on the roster, which I think they shouldn't?
First off, I want to know how people find out about this at a Ken Chesney concert.
Well, it was on video.
Oh,
Yeah, it was on video, so I could bring that up, but there's some swearing and stuff. But it was that's how it ended up happening.
But he had a few at that point too, so
that is true.
But yeah, I don't think it's gonna affect them too much. I mean, they're not gonna cut him. He's just gonna pay his money. And now he's going to what is it? I got an alert about this just a little bit ago. Yeah, he's going to like sensitivity training.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means.
So cool.
Yeah, I don't really know how. He said one word. Yeah. I don't know how you have to go. It's not like you're going through therapy.
Yeah, he's got to be more sensitive, I guess. But no, I mean, what are they gonna do? He's not even a top 3 receiver on the team. He's gonna be the 3rd guy now without Jeremy Maclin, but
potentially.
Because
so. I don't know how well Jason Avon's gonna roll into the wide,
but still, I mean,
yeah.
How much did he even play last year? I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think it's gonna affect him at all.
Yeah, I think
Except for maybe some chemistry with Michael Vick. If he starts the year, he says that he forgives him, and the other quarterback would be Foles, and I don't think that doesn't affect him at all. So.
I think that this might actually come into play. I mean, I just think the Eagles don't need any distractions at this point where they're changing up the entire offense. So, but let's talk about Brandon Weeden and the Cleveland Browns, because I think people have talked enough about the Eagles. Brandon Weeden is coming into his 2nd year, but he is already 29 years old.
Oh, yeah.
A first-round pick of last year. They have Trent Richardson, they have Josh Gordon, and some good pieces on offense. Obviously, the best left tackle. Dave, is Brandon Weeden the long-term answer for the Cleveland Browns and able to get them back to the playoffs anytime soon?
Well, right now he's in his prime, the prime age for a quarterback in his 2nd year. He didn't really impress. I really haven't been a Brandon Weeden fan ever since I started looking at him last year before the draft. I never have liked him, and I continue to stay that way. I think if he's undersigned, the Browns aren't going anywhere. I don't care what other pieces are on their team. You need a quarterback to win, and that's what they don't have.
Yeah, I can agree with you, but I think he's a placeholder for right now. For when I think they need to go back into the draft and look at some better options for next year, like an Aaron Murray. Depends on where they finish in the standings, but they have pieces in place on both offense and defense. I think I kind of agree with you that with Weeden at quarterback, you're not going to be a playoff contending team. I mean, they are a potentially 5-6 win team at best 7. Yeah, but I definitely think that they need. I mean, he was a turnover machine last season, but he has that big playability, like you saw. I mean, with Josh Gordon, he really connected with last season. I mean, there is some hope, but I think that they're definitely going to be. They need a quarterback before they can contend. All right, so now we're going to talk about interesting coaching. We're going to talk about the rookie head coaches. You have Chip Kelly with the Philadelphia Eagles, Doug Marrone from the Buffalo Bills, Mark Trestman coming from the Chicago Bears, Bruce Arians from the Arizona Cardinals, Mike McCoy from the San Diego Chargers, and Chud Szynski for the Cleveland Browns, all new head coaches. Dave, out of all of them, which one is going to have the biggest impact on their team in the first season? Which team with their new head coach has the best chance to compete for a playoff spot?
Let's just kick out the Browns.
Okay.
Because they suck.
Yeah.
Mike McCoy, not a big fan of him, and I feel the Chargers are kind of on the decline.
Yeah.
So I'll write him out. Chip Kelly, I think he should have stayed in college. Not a big fan of that.
Okay.
Who else?
And then you have Bruce Arians, of course.
He's a one and done.
Ooh, okay.
I think he had too much hype last year. Who else?
Mark Trestman for the Bears.
Oh, yeah. He should have stayed in Canada. And
so you're setting this all up for
Doug Marrone.
Okay.
He is definitely the best coach. The second he took that Syracuse coaching job, he knew what his destiny had for him.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's gay, but still, the Bills definitely are in the best spot for a playoff run. With him sending him up there, he's a great coach, and I'm gonna go with him. Who do you want?
Well, I mean, Doug Marrone, I think, has the
Who's
most
this?
work cut out for him. I'll just bring up some Doug Marrone film. Bear with me. This is my first time doing this as a producer.
Yeah, he really I like the way he looks.
I guess. Yeah. So, but I mean, I think he has his work cut out for him with the young quarterback. Who the heck? All right. So clearly they missed Chip Kelly, but I think it's Chip Kelly for the Philadelphia Eagles. I think this team. And I think the Chicago Bears are the second team with Mark Trestman. I think he's going to be perfect with Jay Cutler. But Chip Kelly is going to be really good this year with the Eagles. He's bringing a fast-paced offense that the NFL is not used to, with great players on the offensive side that can really, I think, that can really run this offense. Deshaun Jackson, LeSean McCoy, Michael Vick, I think is perfect for this offense.
Wait, don't forget Jeremy Maclin.
Jeremy Maclin is a torn ACL, Dave. Way just rub it in. Way to make me say it. So, but I think
and then Riley Cooper will just go out there and say some harsh words.
Don't say it.
And then Deshaun Jackson's too short.
Okay. So not true at all. look at what Michael James did with the Oregon Ducks.
That was college.
So what? So same was with college that RG3 ran a good read option.
No.
And Colin Kaepernick.
No.
Yes.
No.
And also they transform it into the NFL. I think if you bring something new to the NFL, at first it's going to have success, in my opinion. Look what the Wildcat had, but then after a while it tends to be solved, which is what the question with the read option is. So it's going to be interesting to see the Eagles go with Michael Vick or Dennis Dixon.
You know, why doesn't anyone ever say that Dennis Dixon has an advantage because he went to Oregon?
Because he knows all Chip Kelly's offense and knows how to run the read option in the fast-paced system.
I know,
and gets the ball quicker than anyone.
Give him into more of a contention because of all that.
Because he's not a big name. He's not a Nick Foles or Michael Vick. He's not a name. Well, now it is because of the QB battle. But honestly, people are just want to say, oh, it's just between Michael Vick and Nick Foles. But honestly, Barkley or Dixon could easily start too.
I don't think he's going to be Barkley.
Well, Barkley could easily come into the preseason. Anybody that plays incredible in the preseason, I think if Barkley impresses and looks better than Vick and Foles and Dixon, they're going to put him in, I think.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
So that's just my opinion. So, yeah, that's going to do it. I think Chip Kelly's the best to me. But also, I think Bruce Arians is going to have a huge impact with the Cardinals, bringing in Carson Palmer. And then I just think Chud Zizitsky got his work cut out from the most out of anyone. And then after that, Doug Marrone, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right, so, yeah, it's going to do it.
Yeah, it's going to do it. So be sure to check us out on Twitter, Lou at DB Sports Talk, and me at Dave Crest Sports. Check out Louis' Eagles blog for more about how Chip Kelly is good and how Jeremy Maclin's ACL is doing and Riley Cooper's slurs and.
Way to rub in the negatives. My gosh.
Okay, fine, Michael Vick.
Just say his name.
Right now.
For now.
And that's why don't you put the plug in for that?
All right, so yeah, check it out at eaglesportstalk.blogspot.com for the podcast and updates, articles. I'm staying with blog.
All right, and mine realbills.blogspot.com. Check out getrealfootball.com for all those great articles. But for now, we'll see you next time.
Later. All right, next let's talk about the Pro Football Hall of Fame enshrinement, which is going to be this Saturday, with Warren Sapp as the class, Bill Parcells, famous head coach, obviously, and the likes of Chris Carter, an all-pro wide receiver from the Minnesota Vikings, and also Philadelphia Eagles in his rookie year. So let's talk about, Dave, out of all of them, which one is your favorite and the best football idol out of all of them between Warren Sapp, Bill Parcells, and Chris Carter?
You know, I think it's going to be Warren Sapp. I like the other two a lot. Clearly, they're some of the best players in football history, but Warren Sapp, he really revolutionized the position. So that's why I think he should be in it. What about you?
I mean, Warren Sapp was a huge. I mean, he was the reason to me that they won the Super Bowl. Him and Derek Brooks. But I also like. I mean, he's obviously one of the best. But then to me, I kind of like Chris Carter, and I'm trying to get his video. I'm trying to get his video up, but I mean, because this guy, honestly, like you said, Warren Sapp revolutionized the position. That is Leslie Frazier. Sorry, just a little new to this whole video thing. So I'm just gonna talk now. Chris Carter with Randall Cunningham as his quarterback and Randy Moss. It was really it doesn't whatever. Just let him talk. This was a surprise. I mean, how good he was. I mean, honestly, I was surprised his team did not win a Super Bowl. He had, to me, the best hands in the NFL. Arguably, obviously, he was playing at the same time as Jerry Rice. So, I mean, but what he did, I mean, with deep passes, I mean, he was a great one-handed. I mean, he could just do everything. He was a great route runner. And this is one of the best classes I've seen. I mean, a lot of people, I mean, Bill Parcells is a great head coach. I mean, he's Super Bowl champion with the
but
New York Giants.
Coaching's overrated.
Is it?
Yeah, easy.
So you think you can go in the NFL right now and coach?
Oh, yeah. It depends what team I have.
Okay, so you have the Green Bay Packers. Can you coach Aaron Rodgers?
I can say, go get him, Rodgers. He'll go out.
Yeah, you need a playbook.
I have a playbook already.
No, there's Chris Carter at the Eagles.
Take the old playbook.
True. Okay, yeah.
I mean, all I'm saying is a coach really good, or is it just what players he gets set up with?
I think that a head coach does a lot. Look what the 49ers did with Jim Harbaugh compared to Mike Singletary with the same players.
Better quarterback.
It was still Alex Smith. I'm talking about 2 years ago. They went 13-3 with Alex Smith still at the helm, and they still had the same starters. What that? Okay, so
wasn't Harbaugh the coach?
Well, 2 seasons ago, but I'm talking about Alex Smith was still there though with Mike Singletary, and so were those starters. And look what they did with Mike Singletary compared to with Jim Harbaugh. So a head coach can do a lot of things.
No.
What do you mean no?
What did Harbaugh do? He yelled a little bit, and
I mean, you can't really coach it.
It's gonna be super easy.
Oh, okay, all right.
Definitely easy, because offensive coordinator can handle the offense, defensive coordinator can handle the defense, and then you could just,
sit there and do nothing. Eat donuts like Andy Reid.
It's like Tundo.
Okay.
It is.
All right.
Isn't it though?
Yes, it is. It is. For those who don't know who Jeff Tundo is.
It's Gene Tundo.
Gene Tundo. Okay. Let's move on to the New York Giants, where now in the official depth chart, David Wilson and Andre Brown are listed as co-starters for the running back spot. Neither is being at 1 or 2.
It's a pretty impressive backfield.
It is. For which one with the David Wilson with the speed and the catching ability and Andre Brown's power, both are primed to have very productive seasons. But which one is going to be the bigger impact for the Giants this year, heading into trying to make a playoff run?
I'm gonna say it's David Wilson. Like you said, he has the catching ability. He's gonna be more of the 3-down back than Andre Brown is. Brown would probably be in there on 3rd downs. Well, no, Wilson. I don't know, but I think Wilson's gonna be the better fit for starter.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely, I agree with you. I think that he's going to be the better guy, but also Andre Brown, who I like, as I'm trying to pull it up. Yeah, I'm trying to pull up the game he had against the Carolina Panthers in that Thursday night game. I mean, he had a huge impact on that game. And just watching what he can do, he still has some really good speed. I mean, he has outside ability, but he's a touchdown machine. He only played 10 games before getting out for the season, and he had 8 touchdowns. I mean, that's huge. But I think it's not who's going to be better. I think that combined, they're going to be huge.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's what I think, and that's why I think that. I mean, they're both going to be huge. But I'm gonna say David Wilson too, because he's to me more of a complete back.
All right, but then what about
All right, so let's move on from the Giants, and let's talk about. We'll stick with running backs. So let's talk about the best running back duo in the league. You hold a Bills podcast. So do you believe that the Bills have the best running back duo with C.J. Spiller and Fred Jackson?
Well, let's guess.
I'm gonna say
Spiller
yes.
going highly.
Well, I gotta have it ready just in case, because you and Brendan are very confident with the Bills.
Of course they're the best, and you can't say, well, no, it's Peterson and Toby Gerhardt.
Well, no, it's not
a running back duo.
I'm not. No.
A running back duo is when it's actually like a split backfield.
Yeah. But is this a split backfield though?
Yes. I personally feel that Fred Jackson should be the week 1 starter.
Okay, stop.
What?
No.
Yeah.
That's not. Why would that happen?
Because he's better.
You're not serious.
I said it on our podcast yesterday. I'll say it again. He's better all around. I say he will be out there in the first play and he'll get the first snap. Hence, a handy starter.
No, that's BS.
C.J. Spiller should get more. Fred Jackson should be the starter.
No, that's not at all what it should be. His explosive speed, he can catch. He had over 12. He had over, I don't even know how many yards he had. Over 1,200 yards with a limited amount of carries. Right, and you're telling me that Fred Jackson, who's injury prone, he's 32 years old, should be the starter?
Well, What did he do 3 years ago or 2 years ago before he got hurt?
Oh, he was incredible.
He was the best running back in the league.
But now he has to battle.
He was on pace to have 1,700 yards, easy, if not more.
But he has to battle with his leg injuries now, and one of the best running backs in the league.
Yeah. But
that's absurd to even say.
What's the most common first play for a team?
For the Bills, it's a run up the middle for 2 yards.
Fred Jackson's run up the middle for 2 yards.
Ooh, congrats! They're not going to keep Spiller on the sidelines for the first play.
Yes, they are.
No, that's not happening.
It's not happening.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
I mean, I can definitely see the Bill. I mean, apparently Fred Jackson's better than Spiller.
I never said that.
But you said he should be started.
Yes.
No, you did say he's better than C.J. Spiller.
I do not recall that.
Okay, so apparently, if Fred Jackson is just as good, or he should be the starter.
He should be
the week
one starter. Yes, he will be the week one starter.
How do you know that?
Because I'm a wizard.
I guarantee you he doesn't. I'll put my life on it that Fred Jackson does not get the first snap.
All right.
Does this mean you kill me if I don't?
Yeah.
Oh. Damn. I
Put
think
that away. That is not a running back duo.
Oh yes, it is.
It's not.
I'm gonna go with the Tennessee Titans.
Not a running back duo.
Don't shut mine down before you talk about your little Fred Jackson
That's a running back
nonsense.
duo.
Chris Johnson and Sean Green.
No.
Sean Green last year had over 1,000 yards and over 6 touchdowns. Chris Johnson is over a 1,000-yard runner with incredible speed.
No.
Yes.
No.
Okay, why?
They would be the best duo if they were a duo.
What do you mean it's not? How is that not a duo?
They're not a duo.
Why is that not a duo?
They're not going to split that field.
They are a split that
No,
field. Sean Green's going to be getting most of the goal line carries, the short yardage carries. They can even put both back in the backfield. They're going to go only a 2 receiver set, no tight end.
Nah. I don't think it's a duo.
Well, that's more of a duo than just as much of a duo than Fred Jackson,
no,
C.J. Spiller.
Fred Jackson's the starter, but C.J. Spiller's going to take.
Oh my God, no, not even close.
Yeah.
Chris Johnson has the speed. Sean Green. How is this a duo? How is this not a duo? But David Wilson and Andre Brown's a duo. That's the same exact thing, power and speed.
Because Andre Brown will get more reps than Sean Green will.
A duo is not it doesn't have to be a split.
Green's only going to get like 4 or 5 reps a game.
That's not true at all.
Yes,
He's going to get a lot of carries because they're going to be a running team.
He's going to like 4 or 5 a game.
Yeah, okay. Not
he's
even
Chris
close.
Johnson. He's one of the best running backs in the league. You can't.
As of when? As of when has he been one of the best running backs?
He's been amazing for the past few years.
He's been inconsistent.
He's been a 1,000-yard runner.
So what? So was Sean Green. Then how come he's still not a starter?
Sean Green gets 400 carries a year.
Okay. Well, Chris Johnson still was inconsistent last year, and that's why they brought in Sean Green. It's no coincidence. Okay. Well, we're gonna still stick with the running backs, but we're gonna talk about sophomore.
Wait, hold on. By the way, Fred Jackson is a sweet receiver as well, so he can catch just as good as C.J. Spiller. He's not as fast, but he is probably even better.
Would they line Fred Jackson up as a wideout like they did with Spiller?
No, but they can do a play action. He can catch. He's ran deep routes before for the Bills.
Okay, so let's move on to the sophomore running backs, where you have a lot of guys, actually. You have Trent Richardson, Doug Martin, you have David Wilson, Alfred Morris, Lamar Miller. I mean, and there's a lot more. Dave, which one do you think, which guy do you personally think is going to be the best guy for this season? Who's going to have the best sophomore season?
I think it's going to be your guy Trent Richardson of the Cleveland Browns.
Okay.
First off, I think he's the biggest piece for their team. Like when you talk about David Wilson with the Giants, they've got Eli Manning, their 2 receivers. Alfred Morris has got RG3. Even Doug Martin has Vincent Jackson and a better receiving core and quarterback. But really for the Browns, they don't have much besides Trent Richardson. So the team's going to look to in North Turner, they're going to give the ball to Richardson more. Now they're going to rely on him more than other teams are going to rely on their sophomore running back. So I'm going to go with Trent Richie.
I definitely agree with you. I mean, Doug Martin's going to be a huge piece, but do you agree that, honestly, if you take away, that Oakland game and that Minnesota game and make them not as productive games, maybe lower his numbers, that he doesn't have as huge of a year as he did?
Oh, definitely.
So, and right there, plus, I think Alfred Morris really feeds off of RG3.
Good.
So, I think Trent Richardson, like you said, he's
how did he do when Kirk Cousins was an interesting stat to look at?
I could look that up.
I got it.
Okay. I think
I
that
might freeze though.
yeah, that's fine.
No, I didn't.
So I think right here I'll talk about it while you're looking that up. I think Trent Richardson, like you said, he's on not as he's clearly not a winning team in my opinion. Like you said, not many weapons there. I think he's the most complete back out of them. The speed, he's such an underrated pass catcher though. I mean, he's a 3 down back. He had last year he had 12 total touchdowns and he had 950 yards total rushing, but
And
he
if
did
was
battle some
healthy
injuries.
his
Exactly.
whole year, then he would have been fine. And it did freeze.
Plus, he has an incredible an offensive line. So there's always that. And then I just think that Lamar Miller
He
is
had
going to have a
13
breakout
rushing
year.
touchdowns actually.
13.
Yeah.
Alfred Morris.
Oh, that's pretty much.
Yeah, I was talking about Richardson.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, Morris to me, I think he's going to feed off of RG3, and what happened with Kirk Cousins, it just depends because I think the read option really helps the running back. Because just look at what Frank Gore and also Lamar Miller's gonna have a huge year. I think for the Dolphins, he's gonna be the starter. Look what Reggie Bush did. He had over 1,000 yards, a consistent 1,000-yard rusher with the Dolphins. And honestly, I think Lamar Miller might be a better all-around running back because I think Reggie Bush is the better offensive player with his receiving ability as well. But I just think that that's one of the things too with him, and also David Wilson is the rare speed. There's a lot of rare speed with these running backs, and I think David Wilson's in the worst position though because he might have to share carries. I mean none of the other guys really have anyone to worry about. Alfred Morris really doesn't have another guy he has to look behind. I think Roy Halou is going to be injury prone. Evan Royster, and okay, and then but I think that but I just think Trevor Richardson's just the best back, and I think if David Wilson didn't have to worry about Andre Brown, honestly I might consider putting him. I mean, I think he's just as good talent-wise as Doug Martin is. That's just my opinion. I mean, but I think it's just I want to see more from Doug Martin. There were so many times last year where he was huge, and then there were so many times where he wasn't.
From Doug Martin?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had him early in fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
He was alright. I ended up trading him away, so he was alright. I mean, yeah, I don't even think he'll have he's not gonna have a better year than he had last year. So
yeah,
that's why I don't really like Doug Martin too much this year.
Yeah, and plus I think his offense is also going to pass the ball a ton. I don't think the Browns really have to worry about passing the ball as much as some of the other teams, as well as the Giants and Dolphins. So there's always that. But Doug Martin has, I mean, again, rare. I mean, he's
Brandon Whedon started against Cleveland, am I correct?
Yes.
He went 27 attempts, Alfred Morris for 87 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Okay, so he might not use RG3 as he's productive, but that's a bad running
3 weeks before he was 129, 124, and 113 yards.
Okay, yeah.
But that's not that bad. So
yeah. Plus, but I mean, you can always keep into consideration too that the Browns' run defense isn't all that well either. So I mean, there's always that. So yeah, that'll. I mean, there's so many good ones though this year that to choose from, and that's why I think it's going to be really good. So we'll see how that works out.